Time to end this.
Once and for all.
We're almost there. When you meet your friends, your master, will you be ready?
No.
Well, we don't need to say that, with
We're never ready.
Going with a
Here we are.
positive attitude.
I don't think anyone will be pleased to see us.
no,
And yeah,
it'll
our
be a
side
party.
objectives are remain undetected until we recover equipment. Stealth kill 3 hallucination, you'll be seeing, in less than 15 seconds, and stealth kill from a hiding spot. I forgot these exact details, but again, I will accomplish also that in this part too.
So
So you'll be
kill
able
your
to see.
hallucinations, of course.
Well, yeah, we're close to the end, so it's easy to guess that the tattoo is finally claiming its toll on our protagonist.
That's probably how we get enemies that we can kill, since, you know, the stalkers tend to be kind of those one enemy we simply cannot take down.
For instance, also bizarre things happening. We have solid objects, becoming transparent once, illuminated. Sure.
So
I get the idea. This is basically what the character's mind is interpreting because of the hallucinations. Yes, Pedro.
objects become more transparent. Sorry, no, what's the code? Oh, okay. Objects more closer to the mirror are more transparent than they seem. There you go.
Sure.
Objects in the mirror are closer than they appear.
Yes, that is the joke. Yes, thank you.
You suck, McBain.
I can't
Alright,
tell if the
I need to bump
hallucinations will help or hinder us.
That's what we'll have to see.
So,
For the time being, thankfully, we don't seem to have any major enemies going on nearby. Yes, Drova?
you mentioned that there are different styles and costumes. Do they also get battle damaged across the course of the plot like his regular stuff
Well, this
does?
is not battle damage, Drova. It's just a matter of, it's the different style that our protagonist is having right now. It basically comes as an alternate outfit in this case.
Well, not so much battle damage, but, story affected, but regardless, though, does he... okay, so basically, say you wanted to use another outfit, that would probably look still intact for this.
Yeah, so... Even still, this is not even, a case of, being intact. Remember, this was changed after after you got the last mark, in the previous part.
I get that. Battle damage was just the first word that came to mind in that regard. Oh, hello.
Remember, she's still following us, just taking different routes.
Of course. What heavy insight our protagonist must have, having to now come face to face with the clan that they grew up with, and now betrays them. Also, spooky, creepy Cave of Wonders face.
Basically, these masks need to be illuminated to activate their contraptions.
I can't tell if that's part of the hallucinations or the Ninja Clan legit thought of that.
It's more possibly both, It's clearly a case where, it might be an actual contraption, it's just that our protagonist is visualizing it that way.
Also, to be fair, what she says makes sense. If the body legit believes it's in that danger or is afflicted in a certain way...
Evangelion logic, nothing really new.
It is somewhat... It does somewhat have a bastion in real life, too, where it's kind of like the placebo effect, essentially. If the body believes it is suffering a certain condition, sometimes it can have symptoms that reflect that, even though the patient should not in any way feel that, essentially.
Look at that, it's one of Karajan's guard. What is he doing here?
Hallucination.
Well, let's see. I can't kill him
Hello?
because I don't have my stuff. So...
We can't even attack him, though.
No, remember, I don't have my equipment. I cannot do that.
Oh,
until
wait.
I get back my sword. Until I can get back my sword, as Danny Vito will say.
A great ninja, but didn't learn alternative means of combat. Oops.
Guess it's also a case of being too reliant.
Don't you see? This actually reveals that Karajan was working with the ninjas all along, faked his death, and it turns out he's actually the real master who did some weird triple cross, and we're totally not just tripping balls.
We'll see. For the time being, it seems, but also that the road towards the the ninja headquarters passes through different layers of a subway. Again, where the hell are we?
God forbid they're in New York.
Is there a subway in Boston or places like that? I know that San Francisco has a train, but I don't know if it counts as a subway.
I'm still. I'm still wondering if I go into what's the Central Park. That's it. I'm still wondering if I go into Central Park during the night, if I'm going to have the same encounter that Kevin did, where I have a guy coming, "Watch it, kid!" Ha ha ha! It's just like I really have to wonder what, like that moment in Home Alone 2 always stood out to me, even as a kid. It's just like the guy isn't even trying to like hurt him or steal from him or anything. No, he just thought, you know what? I'm gonna scare the living shit out of that kid just for the lulz.
Okay.
All right, last challenge. We know it's tied to the last level, and of course it's all about the light gimmick.
Makes me wonder, were we just tripping balls every time we did one of these challenges?
Well, like I said, it's strongly implied that yes, that is the case.
Which would be a good way of, hinting and preparing you for this final level where the hallucinations are affecting even the main level.
And also incorporating, still the gimmicks, in some kind of fashion. Especially this level has kind of a bit of a, not beginner's trap, but something equivalent to that. You might have been tempted to destroy the light that was in the center, But if I recall correctly, it's best if you don't really do that. And I will showcase it, in how the level actually ends. Basically, no matter where you tackle, each room basically activates the other opposite. So in this case, it activates the one on the right, Specifically, it activates, a source of light, which impedes potentially, one of the masks that blocks the passage. My goal is to illuminate, the ones on the top, of course. There you go. In order to actually, find a way to get up and, of course, retrieve the scroll.
Anyway, to answer your question, yes, Boston does have a subway.
Okay. There you go. Basically, activating the mask blocks those specific lasers that, otherwise are attached to generators. What I need to do now is to basically get on top of one of those blocks. This is why it's imperative not to actually illuminate them. There you go. And I can just... there you go. He was there.
Funeral rites for the one who bears them.
And this last set of, scrolls talk about the actual funeral rituals for the people who become the sacrifice and had to kill themselves because of a
The
tattoo.
clan has no power over them, but still they give their life to the clan. For the final prayer, they surrender.
Oh well. Alright, right now basically I need to get up there while trying to not get collided with the subway, which is composed just by one car. Like, this is the shortest wagon or subway ever seen. Alright, we're at our location, but still, there are cars and guards here in the place despite everything. Yeah, before everything else, we need to get armed, as Machiavelli would say.
And now we can fight our totally not hallucinations.
Again, we just need to get to a place where some extra weapons are stored. And unfortunately, there are also stalkers here, so that's what you need to watch out for too.
Is there like a mode of gameplay that gives you a better fighting chance against stalkers, or are they pretty much immune
The closest
no matter which one?
no. They are, like I said in the previous part, they are vulnerable to your attack items, and I will showcase that in this very part. So don't worry about that.
Well, I meant aside from the attack items, like, you know, is there any combat style that lets you?
You cannot stealth kill them. You have to rely on those to do it, which also means you cannot reliably, you know, massacre everyone in the room with those because you only have so much, you know, at your disposal in terms of resources.
Interesting, because our protagonist is supposed to be the best of the best, but he can't
Remember,
kill
Jova.
any of them.
Well, remember, Jova, first of all, these are new units introduced using the technology stolen from Karajan, so clearly something that our protagonist was not prepared for. Second, I lost my train of thought, sorry.
We were talking about how, you know, like, well, why our protagonist can't really defeat any of them, even though he's supposedly the best.
Oh, okay, right, I remember. Second, you have to remember, the entire development of this game was done squarely to make a ninja game that focused entirely just on stealth alone, you know, to forgo combat as much as possible unless it was just about stealth killing.
Okay. Also, I find it...
Even in death,
Go on.
never let us
I
down.
find it funny how, assuming these guards are hallucinations, that even in our hallucinations, some of them sleep on the job.
Oh, okay, this next treat is just for you, Pedro. I'm about to actually showcase it. We have another Easter egg to discover.
Was that a cardboard
Alright.
box I saw in that moveset?
I wonder. I basically also switched my style just to showcase that.
Distraction flare,
Basically, I'm upgrading as much as I can. The caltrops are one of your attack items that I didn't really showcase because they really are not as effective as it means. It's literally just there to temporarily stun the enemies. Woo! There you go, a plain old box that provides concealment from guards as long as it remains stationary. However, with the upgrades that I have acquired, I can actually perform a stealth kill from that. So let's actually give it a test, shall we?
Yeah. Alright.
Oh, so,
Can
so
this...
it's kind of like what you can do in Phantom Pain.
I'm guessing this is
Kinda.
a stealth kill that still won't work on stalkers.
No. Alright, also let's put it on. Oop.
Oh my god, it really is straight out of Metal Gear.
You can also tell it's a 3D model that is cel shaded. And the name of the kill is called Voracious Serpent, and the achievement you get is Inner Heaven. Get it?
Okay.
Very funny.
Well played.
But here's the thing, if you noticed, the ending Karajan guard, for some reason, disappeared into a puff of smoke and turned into something else.
Huh.
Well, let's see, maybe it was just a coincidence, I don't know, maybe let's give it a try to this guy, to this one instead. No.
Oh, he turned
Also
into
turns into
feathers
that.
too.
Not show feathers, let's see under the light.
Well, that one was still there. Weird.
Okay, so we got a Metal Gear reference. I take it this. So we got Pedro's favorite. Is Metal Gear your favorite stealth series, Pedro?
Well, yeah.
All right. What about
Sorry.
Hitman reference here though?
No, sorry, Dwebs. Well, the closest is that you have, Dwebs, your character is bald, but no barcode tattoo, sorry.
I guess I should, like, I'm not really too surprised. Like, Metal Gear is more or less like it's not the creator, but it's like the great-grandfather of stealth in video games.
Specifically on the Japanese side, remember, okay, while not developed at the same time, in fact they were done later, the West managed to, even before Hitman managed to, you know, have a prominent one with the Thief games instead. you go.
Plus, there is one other difference. Metal Gear is Metal Gear's mostly known for having its creator be the most famous one. Yeah, but whereas Hitman is viewed more as a team effort.
Mm-hmm. Same kind of goes for FIFA. You know, it's more about how Looking Glass and Irrational Games did it, other than having so much as a major single person was responsible. Although some of the developers development team overlapped with each other. So there is that.
Jesus, is this what ninjas have to do every time they want to so much as just come into the workplace?
I mean, it's part of a test. Although, as our collaborator will tell us, we're basically about to tread through the training ground of the place. So we'll have to see. I know that she has a name, but I keep forgetting about it. Check on the NDP page what the character that is, our female companion is called. It's easy because there's only a few members of the cast mentioned, so she should be easy to be found. She's voiced by the Canadian Chi-Chi, if you forgot.
I could have
Lisa Ann Bailey.
I think so.
Yeah, she voices Aura.
Yeah, that's her name. There you go.
I could have sworn her name started with a K. Huh.
At sunset,
She's not Cora Drova.
our clan takes part in the Kutsu
Not exactly what I
Again,
was thinking.
she reminds design-wise, she reminds me a bit of Ashi from season 5 of Samurai Jack, but that's really just a coincidence.
This
Especially
came out
because
before,
don't have
but...
names in the shrine.
Though it's worth noting that because Deji showcased me a bit of the character design. Ashi's design herself is actually taken, almost close to one of Gennady Tartakovsky's previous creation, biosynthetic robot, I think it's called.
Yeah, she's got the upward spiked hairdo in the face.
Here we go. There you go. Thanks also to the Mark of Serenity, we can also teleport in most convenient places. But yeah, the place where crawls with the stalkers, but so why would I want to go there? Well, that's because one of these scrolls with the haiku, in this case the burial rites, is there. So a bit of an extra challenge to get it. Now I know what I'm supposed to do. There we go. Oh. See, as you can, if you ask to drove about the previous part, yes, but they can crawl through the vents. So
Yeah.
this is why I need to be super careful, because they can turn to a diamond. Again, their behavior is a bit more erratic, but still similar to the one of the enemy units from Metroid Dread. They were just specifically to fuck you over with preconceptions of gameplay.
Branches from the trees of Hisamu-jo.
And you cannot actually go up there because there's one patrolling the area, so you need to find a way to actually deal with the elite guard down.
And the spirit slips free of the trial.
So yeah, according to the traditions of the clan, by cremating the body, the spirit of a person is freed from the tattoo at the very least. So
Notice.
ideally, it should be fine.
Notice that ninja did not hear us supposedly killing that guy, which seems to suggest.
She was outside the range of the sound. Remember, everyone has that.
I honestly would have thought that the ninjas would have increased sound, but I guess even
remember,
they're just human still without the tattoo.
Yeah. It's all dependent instead of how much the sound propagates. It's not about the person that receives it, but how much the sound in itself propagates, and it's applicable to every single character in the area, basically. Basically, what I'm doing is fulfilling one of my side objective, killing, 3 people in like 15 seconds or something. There you go.
I've noticed though with some of these that, despite the purple things they leave behind, there are some bodies still there.
Well, yes, because they do leave a body behind. So
Makes me
it's
wonder
actually-
if in reality these guys are fellow ninjas that we're killing.
Well, the silhouette seems to be they match from the people we freed from the first level. So and remember, it's all about the hallucinations that that can be real, as our companion told. Yeah, even looking at the one hung, it definitely looks like that.
Why don't we shine some light on that, oh boy.
So again, it's all about also what the level is telling you without telling you directly. The idea that because of hallucination, our main character is basically going on a rampage and committing a massacre. Even and for all we know, maybe these people are not actually reacting to that, but because the hallucination showcase them having guns, they would be able to actually shoot him virtually, and as as our companion said, just being shot is enough to think that you're dead.
Which I guess would explain how the tattoo does make one into a monster. Shame
It's
that
all about different perspectives, yes.
Shame that the clan double-crossed us, because otherwise the protagonist might have legit just killed himself when the mission was done. Oh, wait, that's right, the mission was a sham to begin with. So, when you think about it, who truly is to blame?
Well, again, it's part of the morality of this game, which will culminate at the very end, basically. You will be able to see. If I recall correctly, now I'm about to showcase what I can do towards one of the stalkers. Basically, she's there, positioned on the balcony as I showcase. But if I can potentially throw one of my Isomu terror darts and actually, let her, be succumbed to that. And if you remember, the upgraded version makes sure that the beat victim towards the end kills themselves. So let's see if it happens here too.
Well, she's not screaming like the guards usually do.
There we go.
Ah.
And she doesn't transform, meaning that, the stalkers are genuine.
Which does make me wonder, why is it that we hallucinate some, but not all? Well, okay, gameplay-wise I get why, but narratively speaking...
Probably because, it's still supposed to be madness, so illogical to begin with.
He must be in his garden.
Now basically all we need to find is the Grandmaster Azai, the guy that we freed in the first level. Oh. Hello there.
Okay. Walls have eyes tonight.
Sure.
What happened to the light?
I'm guessing even if light shines on the bodies, you don't get to see what they really look like.
Oh no, you do get to see if they shine, but I don't remember if I showcased it in the part or not. Again, we have seen what they look like in the first part because these are the same ninjas of your clan, like I said, Jova. So, oh, that's on it, guard. Yeah, I'm not touching that. Moving on.
But Tio, you need to kill all your hallucinations for the side channel.
No, I did not.
Just free,
I only
right?
just 3 in quick succession. Basically, since the Azai's garden is closed, I'm basically need to deactivate yet another electric contraption to get there. Basically, what I need to do now, as you can see, activate the gong, which, will alert the guard. Let them get here. So I can kill it, probably, because if I just barged into the room, I would have been illuminated. So, there you go. Alright, this is the dojo is in the proper final training room. For all intents and purposes, this is your final chamber boss, kinda, sorta. Because, as you can imagine, there is no stuff like a final boss in this game. So this is your most difficult challenge. You need to complete it until before the lockdown ends, as you can see from the countdown. And you basically need to move levers so that the statue at the center raises both of the hands so you can grip the sword.
All right.
Again, there's nothing to see here because we're perfecting our stealth kills, so we're making sure that they don't produce sounds.
Gently now.
What would be the perfect weapon for an assassin that just wants to do stuff without making any noise at all?
A silencer.
Aside from just making a virus that goes through everyone harmlessly till it reaches its target and then just kills them.
Don't know about that.
Well, it depends on what limits of reality we're going for.
Well, because there is a mission in the 2016 Hitman where you have to kill 2 people because they're developing a virus that can they could just basically become armchair assassins, and needless to say, the actual assassins of the group aren't exactly okay with that.
There was also a movie, I think it had Sylvester Stallone in it, or another one of those, 80s action, heroes that, it wasn't exactly super assassin. It was kind of similar to The Rock in a sense that it had basically a virus containing like a green container gel thingy, with the gimmick that, now basically you need to resist the stalkers and find a way out of the room too. But basically the idea was that this virus, which could also bypass a gas mask, kill you instantly. The gimmick is that it needed to be contained under a specific temperature, and the entire movie is about a bunch of terrorists, stealing it, and the hero making sure that it doesn't actually, surpasses that particular temperature. I don't remember what the movie's called, but I remember seeing it out in TV when I was a kid.
There's also the movie The Rock, which had those, I think basically frozen variants of a virus that essentially could be really nasty if, they were obviously heated up essentially, or consumed, as Nicolas Cage showed the big bad in the end.
Alright. Time to move. Bye.
Ta-ta!
Sorry, not sorry. Thankfully they don't chase you that long, so... Alright, with that out of the way, we can finally move on to... Yeah, keep going, mate. We can finally move on to the garden.
Now nothing stands between us and Tazai.
Alright. Time to settle this mano-a-mano. Probably with a cutscene.
Probably.
There he is.
Welcome home.
Dude's got a lot of nerve. Also,
Remember, it's all about the honor and everything, yes?
does he know we've been slaughtering people on our way here?
Yes, so that is why he's offering no resistance, because he knows he's not a challenge for us.
Down your sword. I am not your enemy.
You risked our lives and our clan, all to hide your failure.
Who are you listening to?
What?
Have the hallucinations grown so strong?
That's
The
your
voice
twist.
you
She
hear
was
is
never
temptation.
real. She
It
was
is trying
basically
to
a
trick
part
you,
of your conscience,
turn you against
created
us,
by the hallucinations.
to lead
If
you
you pay
to
attention to the
madness.
game,
You must
this
not
has been
let it.
foreshadowed plentifully. No other characters interacts with her. They don't seem to acknowledge she's in the room.
You swore an
So,
oath
and
to
she cannot
save
even
the
be
clan.
physically harmed by the enemies.
Sacrifice.
I
Kind
love
of like
it.
episode 2 of the Lit anime.
Reclaim
It's
your
like if
honor.
the blaze is
and
just
you
in
will give us a
Silver's
chance to
imagination
survive.
theory was true.
The clan gave up
It also
its
paints an
its
interesting
guts
image
and
of
its
our
pride.
protagonist, you know,
It's
the
not
the
worth
figure
saving.
that represents
I will
the
leave you to
consciousness,
make your
you know,
decision.
tied to the tattoo is feminine
Take our
nature.
ancestral
That's
blade from its
interesting.
shrine and come
So does
to
this
your
mean
aid.
that these guys were never really the bad guys, or...
Oh no, they still were, and for the final level, it's a slow walk. Look, I really I will say this positively. I appreciate the visuals in this case. They're really representing the idea that the clan is really thankful for your sacrifice and they genuinely mean no harm to you despite being dicks, despite the fact that they technically are, as your companion, well,
Oh boy.
your conscience tells you, you know, and the visuals, you know, represent that by, you know, different sources of light, and as you will see later, a sort of a recap of what, you know, the events of happening in the game. But again, I'm just pressing D on my keyboard.
Again,
Just make the walk automated. Again, cutscenes require, you know, animating more properly the 2D and drawn stuff. So, you know, I get that. So just make the walk, you know, automatic. It's in the in-game stuff anyway, so...
so basically, Aura was never with us, essentially. Well, she was with us,
And
but...
because this was done in 2012, so as a remnant of the mid-2000s, we get not necessarily an edgy, but a remnant of those rock metal songs that were going on in some anime and, you know, animated series at the time.
Cute. Also, Aura's saying that we need to cleanse the rest of the clan. I don't know how much of that is right, or just
At
to
this
show that
point,
we've
she's
gone off
pretty
the
much
deep end.
Yes, at this point, she's a representation of the tattoo, and as a result, she's telling you kill everyone, the genocide route. So that begs the question: what is best to do? You know, to respect the will of the clan and killing ourselves, despite the fact that they're being dicks to you, or to take still your revenge but condemn people in the process and potentially the entire world because you become a demon and virtually there's no one that can stop you.
Oh, do we get
Again,
a choice?
it's an interesting question. Well, yes, as I actually told us about that. There's Karajan. Goodbye, Karajan.
Boy, imagine if Karjan had also been in our imagination too.
No.
But
No,
no,
that
no,
was
no,
an
no.
actual
To be fair,
thing.
we have seen cutscenes of him talking to other people, so that would not make sense.
The madness of the tattoo was very gradual, you know, and this is just the culmination of that.
You and I, we've always been together.
And so he ended up being stuck in the white void forever.
Alright, it's time to make our choice. Either our master or, well, ourselves. Sadly, Dweebs, no, I kind of wanted something similar to Singularity, where I can kill both the master and myself as a result, but no, we can't have that. I kind of wish we had that for this remaster, but no. So, what happens first when I kill myself?
No more. No more madness.
Then the Earth was doomed. The end.
Actually, technically, there's no impending doom.
Yeah, it's just a matter of the fact that your clan now, you know, has that technology and screwed you over. It's still bitter, but technically speaking, you know, it's bad for the war compared to what's about to happen.
Alright, let's see what happens if you do it this way.
And thus we've killed Scorpion.
He kind of has that color scheme.
Yeah. Damn, Hanzo.
Look at the monster you have become.
It's a parallel to the first Meatballs.
And
But here's
it.
the thing. Yeah, the other major problem we have with this game, there is no real epilogue. No, it just ends. I really wish we did get at least a text screen of what happened afterward, but no, we don't really get anything. I get having a layer of ambiguity, but even something simple as in to say, and so the world moved on and stuff like that.
Like,
but no, we just stop.
Yeah, I do think the issue is that this feels way too self-contained for us to just assume what happens. Like, again, there's nothing to suggest that even when he's taken over, it's not like the tattoo is pushing him for, like, world domination. Like,
I mean, I guess on the plus side, there is plenty of material to make a sequel, but so far the team has not done anything about it.
What else has the team done aside from this game?
Like I said, I mentioned multiple times stuff like Don't Starve or Oxygen Not Included, which technically speaking are more popular than these.
Yeah, if I recall correctly, they've been more busy with, like, I think the sequel to Don't Starve.
No, Pedro mentioned in one of the early parts that now we're currently planning of another game that is a new IP completely. But anyway, that is it for Marco the Ninja. With no post-credit scene, there is a cute gag, not gag, but cute animation to close the credit, but that's kind of it. So, final thoughts, Dibs.
It was fine. I mean, I like the art style. The story was just kind of, it was fine. The music wasn't really all that noticeable. And it's like Tio said, the ending was a bit, weird. Like, and then they die. The end.
Again, I mentioned singularity. At the very least, the endings did had an epilogue narration.
Oh, Red Faction 2 had more to their ending than this. The most we got out of that was, and then this happened to this guy, and then this happened to her, and then this happened to him. It was more than what we got here.
Mm-hmm.
But overall, aside from that, it's fine. Again, not something I'd play, but solid enough, I guess.
Jova.
It's an indie game, but it's a good indie game. When I say it's an indie game, it's like, it's a good game, but I can definitely tell it's held back by its lack of budget. Again, not their fault. An indie game, sadly, will have its limits. Now granted, it's thankfully not Pixel Indie Game number 69, so it's not like they chimped out on the visuals, essentially. It's just that it does feel like this game could be so much more were it not for the budget. But that being said, let's talk positives. The music's good, the visuals are good, the gameplay is relatively simple, with a touch of complexity that does build up with each level that never feels like it'll truly overwhelm you. As far as I know, there's not like any bragging right. Well, there's not really much aside from bragging rights in terms of completing this game, essentially, so it's not like you'll be hard-pressed to, like, do something to unlock, like, a true ending or something.
No.
That said, speaking of the ending, yeah, like I said, I feel like my biggest issue is, again, may not have been in their control, but it does feel like the lack of budget really does hold a few things back. Also, that's cute. We get a sword strike from the grandpa.
By those one, yes. Again, Jova, considering they have the score system, you can tell that this was made in 2012. But remember, those early games for Xbox 360 still had a very arcade mentality in mind. That is why they had the point system still in full force. It's also the same reason why Mega Man 9 and 10 went back to the style of the old games. There was a genuine idea of going retro means going retro almost completely.
I'm not too surprised. Typically, whenever you see nostalgia, it's for stuff that occurred 2 decades ago. And what was 2 decades ago from the 2010s? The 90s, where there was definitely a big arcade fever pitch at that regard. Might have been actually the most popular arcades were before they would go on the decline, but I digress though. The ending is way too abrupt. Like, I feel like for something that's supposed to be such a heavy decision, they could have at least given us either more cutscene footage or, like you said, a text backdrop saying what happened. Now, I'll admit, the twist that Aura's a hallucination is actually a pretty nice one. It's one that you could surmise, essentially, but one that can come as a legit shock on your first playthrough, essentially, since technically they have done it in a way where, it's sneaky enough. That being said, it does feel like, not much is really touched base on after that, aside from, oh my god, you're just that crazy now, or you were always that crazy, essentially. I do wish that we could have done a bit more with it. Heck, I would have found it interesting if, say you choose to go against the tattoo, then Aura is a final boss, though. Okay, I guess that is another issue. Granted, it may just have been the style that they chose, but it is a shame that you don't get some, proper boss fights to do. Granted, I guess as Castlevania Lords of Shadows 2 showed us, you could technically make a boss fight fighting your hallucination while having to hide from it, essentially.
Mm-hmm.
But I digress. That's sadly not what they went for. And again, I understand it's a style that they chose to go with. I just feel like there was definitely a place where you could have put in boss battles, essentially. Now, whether that was strictly design choice or just from lack of budget or they didn't want to push it, I don't know. But it is what it is. That being said, in spite of its flaws, it's definitely an indie game that I would relish to give a try for. If you're in for just a simple good romp of gameplay fun, this looks like it'll be up your alley. And, for what, $20 was it?
Usually, but it also goes on sale very quickly. So put it on your wish list, Jova. You might find on Christmas that, it's gonna be fine. Well, okay, we're making this public in January, so it will be passed over by that point, but you'll be able to see.
But yeah, no. Looks like a fun game, does what it needs to do, has some shortcomings, but overall, I can see this game standing the test of time.
No, this actually looked pretty good for what it is. I do like the gameplay. Seems like it's pretty cool. So definitely looking into that at some point. The music is fine, I guess, but yeah, I'm not particularly. I don't find it particularly memorable. And the story is fine. Again, you can tell that this is going for a mid 2000s cartoon style, and it's interesting. I mean, at least trying something uncommon, so I'll give it that. But yeah, like everybody said, yeah, the visuals are of course one of its points where it excels, because again, this is exactly what you do when you don't have a big budget. You use an art style that gets around that budget and allows you to create an interesting, really appealing visuals without the need to render 3D textures.
I'm actually curious, Pedro. I guess not much, but at least have you ever heard or at least seen stuff for Faith, the Unholy Trinity, from New Blood? That one has technically the aesthetic at the base, mind you, of an Atari 2600 game instead. Technically very basic, but the creator, in order to spice things up, because it's supposed to be an horror game, exorcism simulator, basically. In order to spice things up, very frequently you do get instead rotoscoped cutscenes using the same kind of pixel and coloring of the Atari 2600. It's hard to describe, so it's best if you look up a video on YouTube. But there's that kind of, jarring. I don't know if that fits your criteria that you mentioned, the idea of doing something more with that. But I can tell you, it's not just there to be pixely for the sake of it.
Sure. Maybe I'll have to take a look at it myself and see. But no, this looks pretty cool for what it is. So yeah, gameplay specifically, the gameplay in particular looks pretty fun. So definitely looking. I'll see if I can get my hands on this one at some point.
Again, put in your wish list too. Maybe you'll find a present for Christmas.
Sure. Yeah, that's it. Go ahead, too.
First of all, to answer you, Jova, the game currently, not on sale, is €16.79. So more or less the same in terms of US dollars. The biggest changes happens when it comes to yen, Canadian dollars, and Australian dollars. But technically speaking, there is that. So let's say between 15 and $20, on that kind of range.
Yeah.
But yeah, I enjoyed this game, technically. I find the story a bit more of a disappointment because of how the way it ends, because, again, it feels like you're just playing an episode from a cartoon of the 2000. This really feels like it would be a video game tie-in to said cartoon. Again, it genuinely feels it accomplishment of what Drake of the 99 Dragons was trying desperately failing to achieve, instead.
Definitely.
But so at the very least, I'm glad that the developers managed to create a product that it works. It's fun to play. It doesn't insult the player constantly. It's not frustrating. And you can take your time to enjoy it, because again, the stealth mechanics make sure that you need to take your pace instead of potentially speed running. You can do that if you want, but it's best if you get accustomed to the game to do it. And there is some degree of variety in what you can accomplish a task, which also allows replayability. It's not technically that much of a long game, as you've seen, but because of you taking your time to understand the level and experimenting with the different tools at your disposal, of course you're gonna have to potentially replay a level to collect all the collectibles, or approach a situation in a different manner just for the sake of it. Despite that, also its achievement system, it's perfectly fine. I did not got it 100%, but I'm very close, technically. If I actually bother to apply it a bit more, I wouldn't be able to go 100% relatively easily. The Steam achievements have this kind of percentage where it showcases when not many people play much of the games, because even in more recent releases, you get to see less than 50% getting the basest achievement that you get for completing like the first area of the game or the tutorial. But in the case of this one, the more rare ones are ones tied to, for example, tools of the DLC, like using the mobs to obscure a source of light, for example. Again, these are perfectly, fine to do. So it's also a game that is fun to complete eventually on your own. So again, it's still an easy recommend, particularly to the video game panorama. I still have to play technically Don't Starve and Oxygen not included, but I've seen how they play, like thanks to streamers that I follow, that I play them. They just don't seem to be too much of my alley from the gameplay that they have. But otherwise, they seem to be a perfect fit. So this development team, Clay Entertainment, they seem to be very consistent in what they do, and they try to aspire to achieve a level of quality on their own. So that is commendable. I still think Daniel Mullins is still my favorite in developer at the moment. So technically speaking, these people are not, surpassing him anytime soon, but it's still a fun time overall. So that's kind of it. Until there's maybe a sequel developed or something, we're not going to really revisit this, so hope you enjoyed it. Maybe in the future we'll see more Ninja Team content. Who knows? See ya.
See ya.
See ya.
Auf Wiedersehen.